it's gonna be a tricky one. I want to hear my my co-casters here predictions before I make mine, because that way I can make a more educated opinion on it. Yummy and CJ, welcome to the show again. You've been killing it all week. Everybody's loving the Aussie banter here. But you've also been off in your predictions, which I think is not even your fault, because the 2v2 has just been unbelievably hard to predict. What do you think's going to happen here, Yummy?
I'm 0 for 2, of course, so I don't think you even wanted to hear my predictions. You just wanted to make your head a little bit bigger. Careful it doesn't float away anytime soon. But in the end, as you said, there is so many more upset opportunities. I like seeing the RLCS teams versus non-RLCS teams in 2v2, because typically those non-RLCS teams got through the qualifiers on their 2s and 1s, so this is actually where they feel the strongest.
CJ, it was Nolly coming in, popping off against against Stormtroopers in the first day, and it was Astral yesterday popping off against Sandrock. Who's going to be the man today out of these two teams to put in that phenomenal individual performance and carry the team to victory?
I'll be looking to Jesse's favourite player, Johnny. I'll be looking to Jorius for the dub today. Obviously, he a little bit unlucky yesterday in the 1v1 with a reverse sweep. Was it in the best of 7?
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a lot of redemption, I guess, for this 2v2 format, and his teammates, they might be giving him a little bit of stick on that one, because getting reverse swept in a 1v1 format, it's not ideal.
I don't know what I mean. I saw a bit of Panda's reaction stream to that. He was just like falling off his chair. He couldn't watch. He couldn't watch. If you guys haven't seen Violent Panda's viewing party VOD on Twitch of him watching Jorius being reverse swept, it is very entertaining stuff. But best of luck to them today. I think they're going to need it. Personally, my vote goes to Tree of a Kind. But guys, let's get into the match for day number 3 of the 2v2. It's time to get things started.
Going to get underway to see who can get off the bottom of the table at the moment. Both teams on 0 points. And I think what's interesting, CJ, is in the qualifiers, Dignitas started with Violent Panda. They didn't get a single win. Violent Panda, not a single win on the board in 2s. They replaced him with the Jorias and Yukio combo. Well, now Violent Panda's back in. He's given it another go to see if he can get his first dub.
Well, I mean, Panda is a Universal Open champion, Yummy Cheese Money. In terms of 2s credentials, there isn't much high you can get in terms of prize money caliber, I guess you could say. So, he's got that in him, so maybe it was a little bit of a rough day for him in the qualifiers, but with Tree for Kind on their side of things, I don't think they dropped a game in the 2v2 format in this combination of Exo and Metain. So you would expect big things from them starting off as we head into game number 1 here.
Especially as 2 very mechanical players, you expect Exo and Metain to have a great time in 2s, but they have left this open, and a great pinch from Jorius gets the first goal.
Yeah, Jorius is going to be angry after that reverse sweep loss yesterday in the 1v1, and what a great start there. Lovely little ground pinch to kick things off.
Beautiful start here for Dignitas, and again, they are the underdogs here in terms of seeding. It's actually Tree of a Kind are seeded in that 3rd place position, and that means that technically the favorites in this series, and Dignitas trying to cause an upset. They are getting an early start, and they are on the attack again, as Exo will be the one to clear this one away.
Panda launches that one downfield, and Exo a mainstay on the Johnny Boy stream in terms of the 1v1s, Yummy, and obviously Jorius as well, making a massive name for himself. And what a pickup to be, trialled and I guess picked up by the likes of Dignitas, as Exo nearly sneaks out one in on the right-hand side of the field. But obviously with Astral gone now, Yummy, there's big shoes to fill on the Dignitas side of things. How do you think Jorius can handle that?
Well, it really feels like the same kind of pickup that they made with Astral, trying to get someone younger, more mechanical, that they can mold to their liking, rather than maybe getting a more established player that they have to change and adapt. And I know that Fruity said that Jorius has the capability of being the best player in the world, which means it's unlikely for that to be true since it's come from Fruity, but that is the kind of potential that people are talking about.
Yeah, that's what you want to hear, I guess, when you're picking up a new player. And I hope on the mentality side of things as well, he's got a lot of strong mental fortitude, I guess you could say, Yummy. And, we'll be expecting big things from this man. But a little bit of a deadlock here. It's been 2 more minutes now and still 1 goal as Panda. Can he sneak that through? Yes, he can. He gets a second goal on the board for Dignitas.
Redemption is certainly coming true here as Panda is the one to get his goal on the board. And it was pretty simple in the end. They just waited till they had the opportunity to open up the net, score that goal from the right-hand angle.
Ixo and Matane, what can they do now for Tree of a Kind? As we said, they were undefeated in the qualifiers, but they're looking a little bit nervous now. We're on the mainstream, the main stage here in Europe. Matane tries to control this one. He's got a lot of boost. Can he get an air dribble? Jory's very patient there. Knocking that one away. And Dignitas Yami looking so much more comfortable early on as Jory's might get an open net. Oh my goodness, what's happened here? Where's Ixo gone?
This is the biggest mystery of the day. Ixo thinks that's going to go up, and he ends up completely caught out, flopping like a fish on the beach, as this one ends up being 3-0. And this is multiple mistakes I feel like we've seen already from Tree of a Kind. Plays where they've just misread the ball or missed a ball off that backboard. And honestly, I'm hoping that it's just a situation of not having been warmed up just yet.
Yeah, or perhaps a little case of nerves as well, Yummy, as we said, on the mainstream. And game number 1 of the 2v2 bracket for this team, Tree of a Kind as well. So we'd love to see a little bit more as they warm up throughout the series. But right now, Dignitas so in control. And here's Panda, just tries to wedge that one in off the crossbar. Can't quite make it happen. And look at Jorius there, an instant challenge in the 1v2 scenario. That's what you love to see. A lot of confidence from that man already in game number 1.
You do raise a good point as well, is that in twos, there's really no test of how you're going to play under a lot of pressure, under the big lights as well. You're never worried about how things are going to go when you're playing ranked against, I don't know, 1400s
the ranked warriors
for 15 minutes. Yeah. But when you're in this situation, you're often seeing people play more defensive than they ever would, and it just catches themselves off guard. They end up making that small mistake or let themselves get challenged because Violent Panda's not feeling the pressure at all.
Dignitas certainly way more aggressive here in game number 1 and certainly looking more comfortable as well as Panda knocks the 4th goal away. And we talk about that forfeit button, Yummy. We've been talking about it for the last couple of days. And, if I'm in ranked right now, 4 goals down, 1 minute left, it's not looking likely. But Ixo says otherwise, or does he? A great save from Jorius. And Panda finishes it off there. Great defense from Dignitas. How has that stayed out?
Oh, it's also so frustrating to see if you're Tree of a Kind. The fact that you made such a good opportunity, you got that shot on target, and all of a sudden Jorius is just pre-jumping your save. And it looks like maybe a bit of yep luck, but realistically, Jorius is very good at reading where that shot's about to go.
Dignitas again, just getting back in the nick of time there. Just looking so much more solid as well. That's what you want to see with this pairing. I know that Johnny was saying that they weren't quite as successful in the qualifiers, but they're looking so good at the moment on the defensive end. Again, they're just getting their nose in on that final stage there to knock that ball away.
It certainly makes it interesting that Dignitas have literally tried all 3 combos of their team in twos, and maybe this one the least successful combo of the 3, and yet they're still managing to make it work. And they have the chance that if things do change up throughout the series, that they can make a free adaptation just by changing the lineup. Jorius gets the 5th one on the board, but most importantly, that's his hat trick at the same time.
And Colin Stumpy, we were talking about how they've had so many sweeps in the 3v3 format whilst we've had a lot of game 6s and 7s, but right now, Dignitas, they're looking so strong. I'm just not sure where we're going to see Matane and Ixo come back here. Obviously only game number 1, but this has been dominant.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping it's not just a quick 4-game series, because that might finally expose how bad we are at casting, but at least for now, we've had some great series. I'm expecting this to change up as well as again, Mitane and Ixo are very strong 2v2 players. They are technically considered the favorites. If they are nervous, though, CJ, at least in threes, you've probably had this experience. Game one, a lot of nerves. How does it usually evolve over a series? How are you normally changing up or adapting or getting over those nerves mid-series?
Pure luck, Yummy. Nothing changes. The hands are still shaking. You're wiping the sweat from the forehead and you're just hoping that you stop missing the ball. Unfortunately for me, that doesn't usually stop. So, not sure. Probably the wrong person to ask.
Damn. Well, maybe there's someone in chat who could tell us how to get over the nerves. I'm a very nervous player as well. So, typically
nerves
it's just more about getting used to it. Yeah. We'll see how this does end up evolving for Mitane and Ixo. I haven't heard much or seen much of Mitane, unfortunately. But I'm fully expecting that there's a bit more that we can get out of Mitane as well. Considering he had a couple of highlight moments in that game, a couple of moments where you could see the wheels turning and chances being created in his mind, but he just wasn't able to execute in that front half.
Well, as we said, they were undefeated in the qualifiers, and there's just got to be more of a showing. I mean, I'm not convinced that is the best we're going to see from Tree of a Kind. And these two players, obviously, I was about to say, so exceptional as that. Nearly goes in there, but a great save from Mitane. Knocking that ball away, and that could have been really costly there early on to concede a goal as they're trying to find their way back into the match. And there it is, straight down the other end, and Ixo gets the first goal on the board.
That's a surprise packet, and maybe not the best back pass of all time coming out as that one gets opened up. Ixo well read off that bottom corner as well.
Saw someone said Yummy gets nervous playing plat 2s in ranked, and I couldn't agree more. What on to whoever said that.
Oh no, even chat's roasting me now. Normally it's CJ, the one that's roasting me as we try and get carried. I mean, I'm normally the one carrying you if I have to be honest, but
yep.
Others would disagree. 1-0 at the moment as Jurias will be looking to get the first goal on the board for Dignitas in this second game. Much better start coming out from Tree of a Kind.
Jurias now, low boost. Panda's going to be able to take that one. I love a little fake. Now fakes out Ixo. Can he fake out Mitane? No, he can't. Jurias tries to knock that one away, but quick rotation from Ixo. Puts that one away. He's on the ball now. Love a little fake, but doesn't get any touch at all. And here's Panda. What can he do? Flip reset. Gets it over the top, but not on target. Tree of a Kind can run this one all the way down the field.
That's the interesting thing about Panda as well. The way I consider him as a player is always just so steadfast and great at working with his teammates, very synergistic. But maybe his player like Astral or even Jurias would have nailed that flip reset and got that one on target. Very difficult to do, but it is those small differences that can get you that goal.
Oh, another open net there, Mitane. What's going on here? Jurias not expecting the aggression from Tree of a Kind, and that's probably a fair call as well, because game number one, we didn't have any of this, but obviously a mistouch there. Jurias just letting that ball roll over him. Probably thought he had the first touch. And costly goal there. Two goals up now for Tree of a Kind. This is much better than game number one.
Yeah, much different as well. I think they talk to each other. The way they're getting over those potential nerves, or at least the playstyle issues that they're having, is just to be more aggressive, try and catch them off guard, and it's working very, very well so far. Ixo again looks that one as 50-50 high. Violent Panda looks to take that one out. He's a pass mid, but Mitane has no one in support. It doesn't matter. Another big 50 from Ixo. Doesn't quite read the bounce as Mitane now takes his own shot. Jurias, a masterclass in defense in front of the net. Has just saved 2 in a row. And not only that, he recovered perfectly at the same time for a potential third save.
And Ixo there trying to pass to the third man. Unfortunately, son, it is a 2v2 and you do not have anyone middle as Mitane gets a great dunk. Here's an open opportunity. He takes his time on it and, I was going to say buries it, but Jurias puts it away. Jurias, what's he done there? Ixo can't put it away either. Oh my goodness, great defense from Dignitas. Thought that was going to be a sure third goal from Tree of a Kind. And now they're on the attack.
Talked about floppy fish, and that was more of a jellyfish of a shot. There was no power behind it whatsoever. A tough angle, but certainly expecting that one to go in. We'll still see. Jory has plenty of time now with 2 minutes remaining for a 2-goal comeback. It's Mitane again. Looking to put on the pressure. A huge miss by Ixo. What is going on? Sometimes in all of our twos matches so far has just been completely ridiculous.
I mean, we talk about Farah being the Airbus A380. Ixo looked like a jet flying through there. Not sure why he was attacking it so hard as the pre-jump tries to come out from Panda, but it doesn't work, and Matane slots that in the left-hand side of the goal.
Ixo over the top. This is lovely from him. The fact that he got that extra touch and didn't try and just straight up score, used his time well. I think if we had questions about nerves in game one, that's a great sign that those are all over by now.
A little bit of positioning failure there from Panda as well. As a huge dunk comes in from Ixo. Can he put it away? No, another big save from Jorius. This guy is keeping Dignitas within arm's reach at the moment, but they're still 3 goals down.
3 goals down, and it could be even more as this one's opened up as a double cleared, and Mitane will put that one on target. Honestly, though, I'm most disappointed in Ixo, who failed to secure that goal, failed to steal it away at the last second.
4 goals to nothing now for Trevor Kind. I mean, I was even set after game number 1. I'm not sure how they're going to come back into this, whether it's nerves, and all of a sudden, Yomi, the aggression stepped up, and that presence around the field that we talk about so often has increased as well, and they're attacking everything, they're challenging everything, not giving Jorius any room to breathe, and it's working at the moment.
It really is, and it's just a complete turnaround. Considering game one was a 5-0 the other way, the fact that this is now a 4-0 and a potential 5-0 for Tree of a Kind, if things keep going the way they are, it's almost unheard of. I guess in your experience, CJ, how often does this kind of thing happen when you end up losing and turn that around so hard?
I mean, this just goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, that twos is 100% luck. As Jorius now tries to get the ball out. Dunked hard by Matane, and Matane puts that one away. Ixo, great dunk there, setting up Matane. Open net. Unbelievable play. And look at the aggression again. Another demo coming out.
Not only that, but Ixo's 50s, when he has gone for that aggression, have just seemed to go in his favour every single time. That was such a well-played one to go straight into centre for Matane, and even there, they were both taking risks. They both pushed up pretty damn hard on that play.
5-0 to Dignitas, game number 1, and now 5-0 to Trevor Kind in game number 2. You couldn't script it, or maybe Johnny can. I'm not sure of his scripting powers at this stage, but there's been some epic games so far as there's another demo coming out on Dignitas' side now. Can they do anything with it? No, they can't. And Ixo's got to put this one downfield. It's open. It's running in neck. Can anyone get back? Panda does get back, but 5 goals now. And Jorius, this is just a little bit of a flashy time at 0 seconds. But what's happened here, Yummy? 5 goals either way. Game number 1 and game number 2.
A complete turnaround as you just saw so much aggression from Mitane and Ixo, and at multiple moments, especially early on in that game, Dignitas were not expecting it. They kind of were waiting to make a dribble out of defense, expecting that Tree of Kind would still play defensively like they did in game 1 and get caught out. And then as that game evolved, they did start rushing it a bit more, but it wasn't kind of enough. They weren't really getting solid touches because they were rushing a bit.
And Jorius instantly left that match. However, I believe he is just changing cars, so don't panic anyone. There is no change in the Dignitas lineup. However, they do have that up their sleeve as well. We talked about this lineup of Dignitas' twos format perhaps being the weakest, Yummy. So there's always that up their sleeve if they want to do bring in Yukio and perhaps sub someone out. However, they did win game 1 5-0. So I think at this point they're probably, let's forget about that one. That was a nightmare of a game. Let's reset in game number 3. But certainly strange. You don't see that much of a swing too often in Rocket League in any sort of format.
Yeah, it's not too bad for them as well because they do have that game up their sleeve. They can afford to throw Violent Panda Jorias in again and see how it goes. And even if it does go poorly in this game number 3, they have plenty of time to bring in another player and see how that combination will go. We did see Jorias and Yukio go, I think, 2-0 or 2-1 in terms of their lower bracket run. So that might be the combo that they end up going with. But we'll have to find out. Game number 3, an important one to see who will go ahead in this series and put their foot on the competition.
Two 5-0s in game number 1 and 2, Yummy. And I'm going to call a 0-all overtime in game number 3 because that is just how Rocket League works for some reason. The Panda now with a little bit of space. What can he do? He goes to the Musty Flick. He does get it as well. Not known for the mechanical ability, but that was sweet.
This is the moment where CJ, if he's in Metane's position, he's forfeiting, he's out of there, he's embarrassed because that was a beautiful Musty Flick that Metane did not see coming.
Panda with the mustard kicking off game number 3. You couldn't ask for a better start from Dignitas. A better reply for perhaps a weak game number 2 there is Metane now isolated. Tries to get the call. No, he doesn't get the read. Tough read there from Metane, but Panda puts that one away easy as you like.
See, I think your prediction's a little bit wrong. This is another runaway with 29 seconds in. All of a sudden, Violent Panda just gets 2 in a row. I think he's a little bit angry about some of the comments we've made about him so far because this is a very big showing in game number 3. 0 goals in the last one and already put a stamp here. Get themselves ahead. Again, both these teams 0 points on the table so far, so it is such a crucial series if they want to get a great overall standing.
Metane really should have put that double touch away. He had the bump in net and it was such a slow sort of touch. Didn't quite get the first one as close to the net as he wanted as Metane tries to fire one in, but I will put my hand up, Yummy. That was a 3-head prediction there, that 0-all overtime. I'll never make a prediction again. I'm so sorry to everyone.
Honestly, I'm finally glad that your swollen head's getting a little bit smaller. This is the first time I've seen a little bit of humility coming from you, and I like the change. It's the adaptation that makes Rocket League so good, and EXO finally gets one on the board in this game as look to bring this one back.
This was Panda's turn to go walkabout. Tried to duck out for that back right boost. Unfortunately, it was not the right time. Jorius couldn't control it in the corner, and an open net for Treva Kind brings them 1 goal closer coming back.
Again, actually slows this one down. A great play as well because he gets across to Violent Panda. He's a reminiscent of the same one that before as Violent Panda gets the backboard, follows it up, and the defense just was not up to the task of reading that backboard touch.
2 backboard misreads now from Metane on the defensive end. Not what you want to see and not quite helpful for the trust on the EXO side of things either. So love to see him tidy up. As EXO cheats way too hard here. That's going to be an open net. Can he get back? No, he can't. As soon as I saw that, Yummy, I was so confused. Have a look how close EXO gets right in behind Metane. And as soon as that ball goes slightly backwards, he is in no man's land. Can't get back, and a free goal for Dignitas.
It really feels like a desperation play where they're trying to make up that 2-goal difference, and that can happen when your nerves are high, when you're really feeling under the pump. They had 3.5 minutes remaining. There were plenty of time to bring that back if they just play this, I guess, standard. But at the moment, maybe the veterancy coming into question as Metane struggling, Ito making some incorrect decisions at the same time, and now under the pump, Violent Panda puts that one center. Jurius, he pre-jumped at half. He's going to get that one in. No, he gets it across the Violent Panda, though. And they get the 5th goal on the board. This time, it only takes 2 minutes.
We usually see this from Dignitas in the 3v3 format. What a great passing play there. Panda smacks that one across field, and Jurius nearly with the double touch, but easily swept up by Panda. Great play from Dignitas, and 5-1 now, Yummy. Things are looking dire for Treva Kind in game number 3.
Treva Kind completely struggling. Leaves falling off the tree at the moment as Metane again hasn't had too much impact in these games. We've really been looking a lot more at EXO to maybe create some opportunities, but it just hasn't happened for him either. It's again Metane over to the side. Violent Panda has missed one, and this is an opportunity now. Metane puts it high as Jorius makes a brilliant save. The fact that he pinched that off the crossbar made that play.
Jorius really showing up on the defensive end so far this series, and we see that from the teammate he replaced as well. We saw that from Astral yesterday in the 2v2 as well, so it's great to see. It seems like Dignitas swapping like for like. Here is Metane, bangs that one in the top right corner. Great read there, outpaces both Dignitas members.
There we go. Love to see that. Ixo with the flip reset. Not only that, he got 4 or 5 more touches across to Matane. And that's always a good sign of how much they've played together when you're able to read those touches, read those air dribbles, and know exactly where to go to be able to score that on target. We saw this earlier. More of a chance of comeback. Now it's still Struggleville as Jorius puts a shot on, but it's a big save from Ixo. Continuing on the attack, Jorius gets another flip reset. And finally, it gets cleared as Matane puts that shot on, crossbar, and out. Ixo, can he put it on? He can. And now we're within 2 goals.
Yeah, low boost on Panda. Not the best touch here as Jorius can't quite get back to that one either. Great shot from Ixo, though. Putting it either side of the net would have done. He's buried in the left-hand side of the goal. And only 2 goals down now, Trevor Kind. A minute 40 on the clock. Certainly doable.
I think even more doable if we hadn't seen, I guess, those desperation moments on the kickoff. And Jorius, he just wants to shut it down. He's sick of it. He wants the win. And even avoiding that bump, I think if you are... you would have been you'll be worried about why that didn't send him flying.
Very puzzling non-bump there as Matane writes a holy cow in chat. We might have to have a look at that in the replay later on as Panda does get an air dribble, doesn't quite go in. Joris gets the follow-up though. There it is, 7 goals on the board for Dignitas. This is a strong showing.
It's not just a strong showing. It's ridiculous the fact that it was a 5-0 for Dignitas, 5-0 on the return. Now it's a 7-3. We've had 20 goals in 3 games, and I guarantee you there's going to be a few more in this one. I mean, Twos has been delivering normally in high-quality gameplay so far this week. Well, it's just also been, I guess, sending chaos and absolutely ridiculous scenarios throughout the week as well.
Yeah, absolutely crazy here. Not sure what's going on. I think that it's a mixture of Trevor Kind trying to force their way back into this matchup and Dignitas just having so much aggression and confidence as a massive flick comes out there from Matane. Gets that one on net, but Joris does put that away. Across to Matane, though. A little passing play. Oh, how good's that? Little 1, 2, 3, 4 in the end. And Trevor Kind do peg one back. That is beautiful.
I just love that in the end, Matane gets that one. After flipping, he had no control over his car, but he still gets the goal. A great little 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 play. I don't know how many times they touched it, but in the end, it might not be enough as there's still 3 goals down. And even now, Dignitas still putting on the pressure.
Certainly hard to read, Yummy, those 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2s as Joris does get a little bit of space, or does he? Matane instantly challenges, and Panda stuck out actually for the front boost, which might leave him now in trouble as Joris has low boost trying to get back, but Panda, ice cold in defense, does clear that one away and buys a little bit of time for his teammate.
I also feel like that the only reason we call it 1-2 so many times is we're 2-2 head to be able to count above that number. As, you know, right now it's confusing on the scoreboard, 7-4. Don't know how to get up there. As again, this should be the end of this game as falls on the ground. And Dignitas take game 3. No substitutions will be found today. They have brought back their mojo.
Yeah, Dignitas looking so strong. Not sure what happened in that game number 2. Maybe Coach Verge will have to do a strict replay analysis on that one after the series, but they certainly do look to have their mojo back, Yummy, and just looking so strong there. And perhaps Trevor Kind trying to force things a little bit too much, but some great passing plays coming out and some backboard reads as well. Whilst defensively for Trevor Kind, we saw Matane a little bit not up to par.
It was also good seeing Violent Panda, I guess, use his time very well. When he was given that pass from Jorias, he was able to, I guess, notice that he didn't need to take a shot on net. And that could often be what ends up losing you goals when you just take that shot and hope for the best. But he's always taking it high, putting it in an awkward position. His decision-making, very, very good in this one.
Well, Yummy, I predicted the last game as a 0-0 and it didn't work, so...
It's not. It couldn't be any further away from a 0-0 than as a 7-4.
I'm not even going to try and predict game number for you. I'm going to leave it in the chat. Drop your predictions down in the chat.
Wait, can you just predict it so we know what it's not going to be at least?
I'm going to predict a 0-all overtime, so let's see what happens. But I'd love to see what chat's got to say because they, after all, are the smartest beings in the world here as we get into game number 4. Trevor Kind, how can they respond?
Well, they have to respond in this game. I think going down 3-1 is going to be too much to realistically come back from. We have seen some, obviously, big reverse sweeps on the other end for Jorias, but let's be a bit more as Jorias has opened up the net. Violent Panda worked it through, and he just caused both Ixo and Matane to commit.
When we saw it, who did we see yesterday go to Narnia? Maybe Khaled and Ixo there. I think he's trying to join him there, perhaps in Prince Casimir the next movie. So I don't know what's happened there to Ixo. He's absolutely a mile away from the goal, but that's an open net for Dignitas. Not what Trevor Kind need when they're trying to come back into this series.
It's not going to help as a shot comes on target. Jorias take this solo, but Ixo, he's got the dunk, he's got that on target. The double touch challenge at the same time is what makes it happen.
Yeah, look, I think Ixo's got the stream up, Yummy. He's absolutely heard me there and said, you can get stuff, CJ. I'm putting this one away. And what a great response as well. 1-1 now. Let's see what Trevor Kind can do in this game as Dignitas have definitely had a commanding hand on this series so far.
It has worked out quite well for them, but again, before we saw one big win for Dignitas and then it was turned the other way. See what Ixo and Matane can change up to make this happen as they actually opt to slow that one down. Before we saw the challenges and the quick plays catching Dignitas off guard, I don't think that's going to work again. As Ixo again, slowing it down in midfield, takes out one. The Violent Panda, he's quick on the recovery. Can he come back to save it? No, that is not necessary as Jorias makes the save.
Ixo trying to go for the air dribble bump there. Everyone sort of coins that as quite a sweaty play, but it is so effective, Yummy, if you can get it. Doesn't quite nail the bump in this situation. Great defense from Panda, but here's a lovely infield from Jorias. Panda tries to bang that away, but no, it's off the crossbar. Both the Trevor Kinds jumping around at net, but Matane flies out and just gets there in time.
It's so good to see Dignitas's, I guess, threes dominance in terms of passing come into twos as Violent Panda had to get the flip or the half flip save there. It was a very close one as Trevor Kind, maybe an early lead here could be what gives them a solid position to take the dub. Violent Panda again down the side, has no boost, but he's managed to really play the defenders, and Jorias gets the goal, but what a play by Violent Panda.
That is just the worst situation you want to be in as the defense. They're both front post and they're both waiting for him to kick the ball out. You don't want to get fake there. They've thought he may be trying to take that ball himself straight across net and going for a little bit of a doomsy dish, as they like to call it, but great play there, great pass to Jorias, and that's as easy as you like.
Violent Panda did that with zero boost, so he's really on the ball at the moment. Making a big impact considering he hadn't won a single twos match in the qualifiers. Ixo now needs to equalize very quickly. Has Matane in support, but doesn't get the touch. As Jorias has been commanding in the defense.
Ixo trying to go for a bit of a negative angle flip reset that I think Jorias attempted as well in the previous game. Great to see a little bit of confidence coming out from him, but the demo out for Jorias gives a little bit of space for Trevor Kind of work with. Ixo up in the air all by himself, goes to the flip reset, can't quite get it past. And now Panda in a one-on-one situation. He's going for another musty flick. No, he fakes it, pumps it over the top. What a great play from Panda. 200 IQ.
Has this been the guy been playing ones or something? This is brilliant because they knew that the musty was a potential right there. He'd done it before. He fakes it out and he gets it over the defense. Well, he's certainly answered all questions now. I mean, I'm not going to question him any longer. He's been performing absolutely beastly in this series.
And if you had asked me before the series, Yummy, which current Dignitas has scored a musty flick and a fake musty as well, if you said Panda, I would have just absolutely not believed you for 1 second. But this guy is getting all the space to work with him. As Jorias now says, you know, get me involved too. I'll have a crack at one myself.
It's great to see as well. I think twos has really given so much more room for these players to try and go for these things, more so than in even ones where you have obviously lots of room, but if you make the mistake, then things fall apart. In twos, you still have the backup, but you don't have the backup. You just get bumped out of the way. Mitane, the air dribble bump. This will almost bring it to a tied game.
It's one of the highest air dribble bumps you'll see, Yummy. He dribbled that from his back corner boost and nailed the bump on Jorius. Perhaps a little bit passive there in net as nearly a kickoff goal comes out. But a great turn from Jorius, puts that one away, and Panda now with a lot of time on the ball. He's going up the wall. This is great to see from Panda. I love the individual solo plays coming out from him. As a player, Yummy, who perhaps is more of a third man previously in the 3v3 rotation, but this gives him so much room to work with. His Matane goes for a flip reset himself. Can't quite get that one away, and Each will have to scramble back.
It's great to see as well. Sometimes you're just feeling it. You know that you can make these big plays. And as well, it is the so-called off-season for RLCS. This is where players are really putting in the grind to improve their mechanics or improve in a certain area. And you're already seeing the fruits of Violent Panda's labors. Matane, though, now has the opportunity, I guess, to redeem himself. He's been the player I think we've talked the least about throughout this series, and he hasn't still found too much impact on the pitch.
Yeah, certainly going to need to see a little bit more from him, but that's a positive as well, Yummy. They're only a goal down here, and Matane perhaps not playing at his best right now, so as a bump tries to come for so does he get it? He almost does. Joris just gets it away. Great defense there, and great patience as well, waiting for that bump and waiting until the last second on the goal line as Panda does get fake from Eek, so great patience there and composure as he buries that one in the left-hand side of the goal.
And some good pressure set up by Matane as well. He knew that the challenge was coming in. The clear attempt as he just gets in the way, sets it up for Ixo. So now we have a chance. Now Tree of a Kind can tie up the series and put us back in a situation where we might have a game 7. We might have some overtimes. It's not the 0-0 that you were looking for, but we always knew that wasn't going to be the case. Clock out to hit 0. One last chance for regulation time. It will hit the ground. And there we go. Overtime.
Well done to everyone in chat who predicted a 4-3, but which way will it go? That's going to be the question. And Tree of a Kind do win the kickoff. Can't quite get much out of it, but Ixo still on the ball and trying to pressure. Jorius taking his time, and a flip reset from Matane for no reason whatsoever isn't quite the most effective thing to do, as Ixo instant challenges, and that's a great thing to see from a last man, Yummy. The confidence to challenge straight away and not worry about getting beaten.
Sometimes you got to flip reset for fun, as Matane, especially with the ability to flip reset, going up high there, was a good opportunity, but that was just in. I thought that was easily saved, but there was no boost left on Jorius after he made that save. Violent Panda not quite ready to get back. And now we have ourselves tied up. It's looking better and better as the series goes on.
Jorius left with his pants pulled down there in defense, Yummy, with 0 boosters. Proved costly for Tree of a Kind, and we were asking for a good series, and for some reason, we just keep getting close series, no matter how crazy the individual games are, Yummy, with these massive 5-goal wings either way. It's 2-2 now. Tree of a Kind have responded. I'm not sure what's happened. If you ask me who probably played better that game, I nearly would have said Dignitas there with some crazy plays coming out from Panda, but, you know, Tree of a Kind just found a way to win.
Honestly, I'd just say sucked into Cole and Stumpy. They keep getting all the sweeps. Maybe deserved because Cole is a redhead. I mean, it doesn't get much worse than that, but at least we're getting some great series. 2v2s keep delivering over and over again. I think what was most crucial, though, in terms of that game, was that it was close. It wasn't a big sweep either way, and hopefully that continues on for the rest of these games.
Let's hope we have some justice for redheads tomorrow, Yummy, and they do get a good game. It's not ideal, and not ideal for poor Cole there, and I'm sure he's going to be quite hurt by those.
Not ideal that he's a redhead, or
no, just not ideal what you said. Thank you. Don't put words in my mouth. We do get into game number 5. We're about to kick it off. Whoever wins this will take the lead in the series. This is a huge game. We always talk about it, Yummy, in best of 7s. Winning that game number 5 there, putting yourself on series point, the pressure that can put on the other side is immense. And if you can start winning this game, it's going to go a long way to winning the series.
It's going to be important to get to a good start, especially, I'd say, for Tree of a Kind, who've shown that they are stronger in that leading position. The last game, they managed to claw it back. Violent Panda's got the flip reset, but Ixo reads it very well. Now Matane on the counter-attack. Ixo, he goes to the pre-jump himself, but Yoria's well up to the task of the defense.
Yeah, a little bit, he's gone for something, Ixo, there that it's not ideal, but I do like he's willing to try, and it shows that he's confident as well, and that's the main thing here, especially for Matane, who's perhaps been the weaker of the two so far this series. Really need to see him start to get a little bit more involved. There we go. The cluster anti-curses. Matane bangs at it above, just below the crossbar, sorry, and what a start now for Trevor Kine.
We've been banging on about Matane all series long, but it's just because we have such high expectations of these guys. We haven't seen it yet, but that is a brilliant shot. Pure perfect strike over the top of the defense as well. And this is that lead that we were looking for when it came to these guys.
Absolute bang there from Matane, or as our friend a lot would affectionately call it, a slaughter. Oh, but that's an absolute slinger as Jorius puts that one into the left-hand side of the goal. And, come on,
great save there, CJ. Great save. A slaughter. Well, it has been a slaughter in the first 3 games, and now it's been much, much closer. A tied game again. Love to see it. Ixo off the kickoff. Gets it across to Matane, but it's actually Violent Panda on that one. If he had any boost, that was most certainly a goal, but again, it was just off the kickoff. No boost in the tank. And a big demo, and a big flop by Jorius. He misread it. I've seen it a million times before, normally from first-person perspective, but this time it is Jorius who doesn't quite make this work.
Somebody check that man for concussion, because I think he's got a broken nose there. Absolutely bumps into the ground. What has happened there? A little bit panicked through the demo. Jorius, that's not what you want to see, mate. And, he'll be a little bit embarrassed with that one as Trevor Kine pushed forward, and a lucky little demo coming out. Look at Matane, though, the insta-challenge nearly pays off, but he tries to flick it back out to Ixo, and he insta-challenges now. This is rough now. Jorius, he's going to be the first one of the ball. He's got an open shot. Can he get in? No. He puts it wide, and an opportunity gone begging there for Jorius and Dignitas.
Oh, it's a great bump from Violent Panda too that gave him that opportunity. I think he just rushed himself ever so slightly too much. But we kind of saw from O'Khalid earlier in the week that you can't slow things down too much in twos either. You will get caught out. 2-1 now as Ixo, he's dribbling over the top of everyone. Wasn't quite a bounce dribble, but it was kind of similar. Always keeping it on top of his car. I was going to say his nose, but considering this is a Johnny Boy tournament, I don't want to drive that one home too much.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Johnny Boy was Jorius back there smacking into the ground, I don't want to know what had happened to that poor old nose of his, but
free plastic surgery, to be honest.
Well, yeah, that's true. It might even it up a little bit as Panda goes for a little bit of a pre-jump. Can't quite get there, and Matane now on the counter-attack. Here we go. Trevor Kine looking for. That's a great flick. Panda parries that one away to the corner, however, and Trevor Kine trying to keep the pressure on. They're a goal up and still pushing forward, Yummy. That's what you want to see. A lot of confidence, even though they're in the lead.
And right there, they gave the time and they beautifully play that. Oh, Matane looks for the flick underneath, but it doesn't quite work. 2 minutes now on the board. Matane having so much impact in this one. Love to see it. Violent Panda gets demoed again by Matane. Ixo, he fakes out the flip reset. He takes it over the top. But Violent Panda, he's respawns in time. A miss now from Matane could give Jorius the opportunity, but it hasn't quite panned out. Maybe they wanted Matane up to Ixo against the backboard. A little bit of intense play coming out as more bumps in the midfield looking for it. But Matane again stays in the game.
Panda, can he get back to this? A little bit awkward as he does parry that one away, and Jorius now a little bit of time and space with the demo. Matane's backed up. Here it is. Jorius, great situation, great goal as well. There it is. A little bit of time and space. Matane backing up, way too passive. And this 1v1 situation, boy, was Jorius licking his lips.
You saw the build-up as well. Both teams throwing everything at the ball. Matane making play after play, but eventually they'd have to throw too much at it. Gave Jorius the 1v1. I mean, sure, he got reverse swept yesterday, but that is, counter to what we normally expect. very good in those situations as Jorias and Violent Panda have committed. Jorias is out of the play, but Violent Panda by himself makes the play. Violent Panda again looking to make something in front of the net. Ixo doesn't get the flick. Violent Panda, he's getting left back on defense, but he's always up to the task.
Ooh. Panda tries to get one on there. Matane does miss the double, and here is George. A little bit of time, does bang it. That's going to leave Matane a little bit awkward under the ball, but he does turn. That's a lovely little tight turn there from Matane, as he does get a flick. Ixo straight down the other end into the top right-hand corner, and Ixo responds with a 1v1 goal of his own.
Oh, beautiful. And you know it's Ixo. You know he can make these plays. Jorias knows it as well, and he covered the other side of the flick, but he doesn't get much better than that. Tree of a kind. A chance not just to win this game, but to get ahead in the series. When this started so disastrously for them, it just shows why they were so good throughout the qualifiers, why they are seeded number 3. They keep sticking it out, they keep adapting. They might just get goal number 4 to secure it.
There it is, goal number 4. 2 goals up now, and after game number 1, Yummy, I'll put my head up. I was a little bit worried about Tree of a Kind's chances in this series, but right now they're going to be moving within 1 game of closing out this series and sending Dignitas out of the 2v2 bracket.
It's just a pity that we can't get the Violent Panda watching party of this. I think he'd be worried as well at this moment, but this may bring it into a chance. 4 seconds. We saw, again, O'Khaled and Ahmad earlier on able to make these plays with short amount of time off the kickoff.
And we saw Astral as well, the old member of Dignitas, scoring a 0-second goal yesterday, Yummy. So anything is possible. Here we go, 4 seconds left. What can Dignitas do? And they concede a goal. I believe they might have gone for a Spanish pick-off there. I'll have to look at that one again. I like their opportunistic play, but unfortunately not the best touch from Panda, and Ixo puts that one away. Game over. Tree of a Kind now move on to series point.
Absolutely crazy end too. Violent Panda just not reading that play because the net was wide open. But Tree of a Kind, they're now 3-2, or Tree 2, I guess, as they've turned this. don't point at how bad that was. They're now one step
Can
away.
We get Yummy out of the call? Let's
move on.
I'm going to solo cast game number 6, ladies and gentlemen. That was absolutely disgusting. I don't want to hear another word. I hope he mutes himself and just removes himself from the situation. I'll be taking over for the rest of this 2v2 tournament. Can we get some Pog Champs in chat? No more Yummy Cheese, man. That was disgusting, and I really wish I didn't hear it.
I'd like to formally apologize for how terrible that was, but I said it earlier. I was hoping it wasn't a 4-0 to expose just how bad we are at casting sometimes, and thankfully the series is carrying itself. We're going to carry on and hope that Tree of a Kind hope the Dignitas can bring this back. They are bringing back Violent Panda. Those sub outs, they're sticking with him to the end.
Every time I see a number 3 now from now on in this series, that's all I'm going to think about. So thank you very much, Yummy, for that one. But here we go. Game number 6. It's now Dignitas' turn to respond. Their backs are against the wall. They're up against series point, looking or facing elimination from the 2v2 bracket. So let's see what they can do here. But a great start already for Tree of a Kind, already with possession. But Ixo, he's low on boost, and he can't do much with it.
Warriors looking to center this one up for Violent Panda. He's got the musties before, but not this time. Ixo wise to it. He gets the bump. This has gone in favor of Ixo. It almost goes in. Matane, he goes to the slow shot. And what a disaster. Violent Panda had the bump, and it worked out perfectly for Tree of a Kind.
Matane just gets a little bit of a wheel touch. That's a great shot, actually, getting it behind Panda. And that's so important in today's Rocket League as well. With the pace that defenders are coming at across the goal, putting it behind that defender, Yummy, is so crucial because it's quite hard to get that ball if you just get it stuck in behind you. A great little play from Matane just to take a little bit of a pace off and get an opportunity. But here's Jorias now with an opportunity. He does get the dunk. He does get the goal. Great play, great little air dribble there, and a great way to respond as well, Yummy, in game number 6.
And a great example to your point, too. Jorias slows it down again in order to get the 50-50. He doesn't play for the shot, and that caused the defender to really worry about, I guess, the shot and not play for the 50-50. So now he's tied up again. Dignitas, remember, don't have a life on the line. They have to win this game to get into a game number 7. So in terms of nerves, the most pressure is on them.
And Verge did say yesterday that Joria switching to the Octane was a mental reset. Unfortunately, that didn't help yesterday. So let's see what happens today. And it might not work today either, as Ixo gets that one away through a great demo from Matane.
The bumps have come in clutch as well. They're happening more and more as the series goes on. Joria's gone from the game. And again, the lead coming out from Tree of a Kind. That's the position that they want to be in. Obviously.
Dignitas in situ. Yes, they do want to be in the lead, Yummy, but they're no longer in the lead as Jorius does get that one away. 2-2 now, and honestly, you've been terrible today, Yummy. I hope you come back better tomorrow because your brain is just not quite working at 100%.
I'll tell you what, CJ, they don't want to be in this position. They prefer to be in the lead right now. Dignitas tie up this side. It's 2 apiece, 4 minutes remaining. And honestly, I don't think it can get any worse than this. I think tomorrow has to be better. 3 minutes 48. I'm just saying what the time is on the clock. As Ixo takes this up the wall and looks to get this one out of defense.
That is indeed the time, Yummy, as one team certainly wants to be in the lead. I think both teams do, and Joris is going to be the one to make that happen for Dignitas. He puts him up in the series, in the game, and great little goal there, great bounce dribble. That's the O'Callaghan special, the catch and shoot.
A strong 50-50 as well from Violent Panda. We saw this earlier in the series where Ixo was getting it into attack and then just making sure it would squeeze out into the center field for his teammate. Violent Panda is certainly the player you'd expect to be doing that the most. Violent Panda now a solo play again, but it's read by Ixo. Panda takes this to the back corners. Joria's really looking for a flip reset, and he does get it. Not enough power over the top of Matane for it to be a goal. A huge touch by Matane for the save, but Violent Panda will continue this on. It's off another post. Violent Panda continues, but mid-shot he gets demoed out of the play. Matane still going for it again as no, it is not going to be another bump to open up the net. Matane
should have been a goal there for Dignitas, Yummy. Should have been a goal there for Dignitas, I was going to say, Yummy. It's just a bit... Or is this going to be a goal? Panda, no, he can't quite get it. It's off the crossbar, but Jory should have put that one away and put them up. 2 goals in the game, but as I think I've just turned into Eminem again, and I'm rapping at 6 a.m. in the morning. What is happening right now in this game? What is happening as the bump comes out? No, Joris is going to be there. Both members back to Dignitas. They carry that one away.
Another chance for Ixo in for the dish in the end. Matane there in the wings waiting. That's a bad 50 for Matane, but ends up working out as Ixo gets possession. Matane against the backboard, but it's high. Violent Panda makes the save, and now Jorias and Violent Panda have a chance for counterattack. They didn't have the boost. Jorias up to make the save against the crossbar. Panda looking to get this one out, but every single time Tree of a Kind getting the challenge. A big miss from Matane is a disaster as Jorias looks to open it up, but a Matane, another demo. I think that's like 5 or 6 already just this game.
It's always a great trick, isn't it, Yummy? If you're not quite feeling it or you want to impose yourself on a series, go for those bumps, go for those demos. They're so crucial and they can lead to so many goals as well. As we see from the likes of M-Point in the 3v3, but that's a poor 50-50 from Matane. Jorius takes that one right around him and puts that one away. Dignitas now up 2 goals in game number 6.
Looks like we're going to have a game 7 the way this is going. Jorius puts that in, but again, off a great 50-50. They're not trying to do anything special. Just playing the ball very well. But Tree of a Kind need to get 2 goals to bring this one back, and not too much time to be able to make it happen.
Matane, a little bit of a double off the ceiling there, but another demo comes out from Matane as well. That's great pressure, but Panda's going to have that, and Matane's forced himself here. This could be an awkward situation, but he does get back and knock that one away off the post. Panda still keeping the pressure on. Ixo just sending that one as high as he can to get that one away.
It looks like desperation hours too. You're seeing Tree of a Kind throw themselves at the ball just that little bit more. Might lead to a goal on their end, but it's the risk they have to take as Violent Panda takes that one across. Juria's now hit the backboard. Ixo taking his time, but he might not have any time left. Mitane looking for the bump. It was almost on target, but it was just too high.
Panda gets a decent 50-50, maintains their great positioning. 1-on-1 situation, gets a flick over the top. Can Ixo follow up? Panda hesitates, and he does get the save. Great touch from Panda, great clutch, but there it is, and it's the shot, and he can't get that one. Jory is beaten. Panda can't quite reach it, and now Treva Kind within one goal of clinching the overtime, or the equaliser, should I say.
Mitane, you've done it again. He gets so many bumps in this play. He was just going for it over and over and over again. This has been so much, or so difficult to defend for Violent Panda, as every single time he's looking for it, he gets taken out of the play. Mitane over the top, almost another bump from Ixo. Instead, Ixo goes wide. 0 boost almost on Violent Panda, but 0 seconds really left for Tree of a Kind. But they actually back off. Mitane has a shot, but he just took it straight at the net. Might just hit the ground here. Dignitas take us to a Game 7.
Oh, here we go, Yummy. Game number 7. Why do we just always get good series? I mean, Stumpy and Cole are probably sitting back absolutely fuming. I can see just fumes coming out of Cole's ears. I reckon his face is as red as his hair. Damn it, I've done it. I've turned into you, Yummy. Game number 7, here we go. This is going to be an absolute ripper. What a series we've had so far. And Dignitas, what a way to respond to game number 6, backs against the wall.
I love it. And Juria's getting 4 goals as well, but so controlled, especially under the pressure of Mitane going for all those demos. And I love to see those demos too. They made such a difference when they worked. I think if Dignitas really want to, I guess, clinch this series out, they're going to have to be watching out for those demos. If they avoid them well, they'll know that they'll just create opportunities from Tree of a Kind overcommitting.
And Dignitas' official account in chat saying if they do lose this to Trees, they will have to all become lumberjacks. So, not quite sure how that's going to work out. I think you know, Panda and Yukio might actually be all right at being lumberjacks. Yukio quite fancies the size of his arms, so we'll have to see how that goes out, how that works out.
He's not even in the game, CJ, and you're making fun of him.
I'm sure that'll work out for him. Here we go, though. Game number 7. About to get underway, and Dignitas with a little bit of momentum after that Game 6 win. They certainly look strong. But, you know, anything's happened, Yummy. We've seen 5-goal swings. At this rate, I think Trevor kind of probably going to win this 10-0.
I mean, okay, well, we know that that's definitely not going to happen, but I'm hoping for a close one, as we've seen in the last few games. What a turnaround for the series as a whole. Violent Panda continuing on the defense, a 2v1, and Ixo just goes to the shot and catches Yorias off guard.
Only 9 more goals needed, Yummy. Don't know why you're saying my prediction is bad, as Ixo does sneak this one near post past Jorias. He does back up. I think he's a little bit worried about that far post or the dribble, and he's caught standing flat-footed. Great shot there from Ixo. Treva Kind up 1 goal now, game number 7. And what a crucial first goal that is.
Big one, but we've seen, even in the last game, that Violent Panda and Dignitas were able to bring this back very quickly. Violent Panda goes for the bump, and it works out just like last game. Deja vu. A deja vu in terms of CJ's predictions coming wrong. 1 apiece early on.
Rip the dream, everyone. Rip the dream. No 10-1, but we do have a game on our hands. 1-1 here. Treva Kind, Dignitas. Game number 7. This 2v2 bracket has been enormous as Panda. He might get a kickoff goal. Can he put it away? Yes, he does. And kickoff goals, they can prove so costly, particularly in the deciding game of this series.
This time it was Mitane who just pushed up a little bit too far to give that opportunity to Violent Panda. You start worrying about this. I don't want to see games 1-3 where one team just flew away with the game. Ixo puts the shot on. Trying to bring this one back as Mitane now has a chance, but didn't quite read the corner. Tries to slow down in the midfield as the clear takes that one away. But Jorias, he's got a net. He's got it, but Mitane goes to the pre-jump.
Great save coming out, and I love the innovation from Joris as well. But he's now left in a 2-on-1 situation, or a 1-on-2, should I say. Does handle it well, and Mitane parries that away, trying to keep pressure on. I love the aggression from both sides, Yummy, in game number 7. They're not shirking the issue. They're both trying to play, but here's a bit of space. Matane, left footed. Joris goes to the foot reset. I don't think he got it there. He tried to go for a fake, but I just think he might have not got that flip reset, Yummy, to get that ball over the top.
And that play as well was the proof behind how difficult it could be if you go for that demo. How it could take you out of the play, but that one's just left wide open.
Someone give Ixo a driving lesson. He's jumped on the wall, he's flipped, he's missed the boost, he's had an absolute nightmare, and that's Dignitas now 3-1 up. Not ideal for Trevor Kind. Their backs are against the wall now. Their turn to respond. Ixo, mate, we're looking at you.
That was the equivalent for Ixo of when you have that nightmare, you show up to school, you don't have any pencils, you've lost your pants or something like that, and you just get completely flabbergasted, miss the wave dash, and that may be the biggest mistake of this series so far. It could be very costly. And now Violent Panda, he's put in another, he's put in the fourth. They're running away with it here, CJ.
Dignitas up 3 goals now, and look, Trevor Kind just getting a little bit too aggressive. They're only 2 goals down. We spoke about it earlier on in the series. I mean, there's no need to be so aggressive with 3 minutes on the clock. But now they're at a further deficit, and the pressure is piling on as a fake kickoff comes out for Dignitas. Here we go, Panda, what can he do? Dorius goes for mid-boost, and all our hopes and dreams have just died, Yummy.
They're just so chill about it too. Joria's, I guess sometimes in twos, one of the most important aspects is 1v2 defense, and Jorius has done it masterfully. Even right there, just his defense is what gave Violent Panda the space to take advantage of that overcommit.
Yeah, look, Trevor Kind might just be letting this one slip through their hands here in game number 7. They've just been a little bit too aggressive now 2 times in a row, and it's cost them 2 goals. A 2-goal deficit has turned into a 4-goal, and now a 5-goal deficit as Panda piles the 6th goal on the board for Dignitas.
Does anybody in chat remember when CJ said it was going to be a 10-0 for Trevor Kind? That's a yet
Wrong
for
way,
me.
wrong way.
Wrong way? Well, it can't be 10-0 the other way either, but... basically, as we predicted, anything CJ says, just do the opposite, and you'll probably be correct. Matane has to try and make something happen quickly, but that's kind of been their issue when this game has gone poorly. They've committed more and more, they've pushed more and more resources, and in doing so, they've put themselves in a worse and worse position.
I mean, the positive is right now for Trevor Kind, there's half a game left, and there's been 7 goals Yummy scored in the first half, so they're only 5 goals back, or 5 goals down. So it is possible, and this 2v2, anything can happen, but Jorius says no as he tries to pile another one on. The pressure is mounting now for Trevor Kind. They have to find something. Perhaps some bumps should come out now from Matane. They have to throw everything and probably the kitchen sink at this one.
We saw a 7-4 earlier in the series for Dignitas as well, so maybe they're able to beat that overall score as see Trevor Kind try and make the comeback. Jory is over the top of Ixo, will hit the backboard. And you can see an adaptation now from Dignitas. They're not trying to commit too hard on anything. When they do, it's usually because the other team, the Trevor Kind, has put a little bit too much on it, so if they commit anything, there is a chance of them getting a goal.
Pre-jump coming out there from Ixo, trying to read that crossfield clear coming out. So getting a little bit desperate now is Trevor Kind, and Panda, he's so good at killing time off the clock. This is where you want Violent Panda on your team. Game number 7, Yummy, and closing out series. He's so good at it. He's such a veteran, and the composure from him is world class.
It really is, and shown in this Game 7, probably the most nerve-wracking part. Even in lesser important series, when you get to that Game 7, can be the worst time of the match. But Ixo does get 1 on the board. Still 4 more left if they want to bring this back, though.
There's a chance, Yummy. There's a chance, and that's what we're going to run with game number 7. Here we go. Trevor Kind. Can they build off this? Can the floodgates open now? 4 goals down, a minute left. They are not out of it. We're not hitting the forfeit button just yet.
That's the CJ attitude. He can own goal 3 times in a series, miss every open net, and he'll still be telling his teammates, all right, we can still win it. Let's go. Heads up, boys. You know, we've made a few mistakes, but we'll bring it back as Violent Panda wants to shut that idea down completely, goes high, takes it away from the defender. The most important part, wasn't even looking for the goal.
Ixo now on the ball. A little bit of a chance here, but Jorius, look at that. He's got 100 boost. He's got all the time in the world. And the instant challenge from Attain isn't ideal. There's an open there. Panda's going to bang that one bottom right corner. Dignitas now 7-2 up, and they look to have closed out this series and will be staying alive and moving on in the 2v2 bracket.
Such an important series. So much on the line. Both of the teams have taken a loss already. And, you know, you look at Tree of a Kind, they were so highly seeded. Remember, this is technically an upset in terms of the seeding, as we had very high hopes, and they lived up to it in the end. I just think if maybe Tree of a Kind could have had a better start, we might have seen something very different.
It's so important for Dignitas this win as well, Yummy. If they had lost this, they'd already been knocked out of the 1v1 bracketers. I think everyone's a little bit... Oh, that little bit of trolling there. I think that's bannable, I think. We'll have to contact the regular or the authorities for that one. Not sure what's happened there. Clear... yeah, that's clear trolling. Let's talk that one out with Panda.
Violent Panda already had 7 goals and Jury is 0 in that game. He wanted to make sure that he was the only player in the spotlight. You know how Violent Panda is. Always me first. Very greedy player overall. Not the kind of player that would pass a lot to his teammates. But congratulations to Dignitas. A well-fought series. Doing it with Violent Panda again, who, you know, may have had some trust issues in terms of not having a big performance in the qualifier, and yet they trusted him in this match.
And Panda with 7 goals in game number 7. What more do you want? But unfortunately for Tree of a Kind, they are knocked out of the 2v2 bracket. However, you will be seeing more of them in the 1v1 and 3v3 as well. I'm sure I don't think they've been knocked out. I can't quite recall, Yummy, if you do know. You must check. Liquipedia is number 1 source for that one. But yeah, great work from Tree of a Kind and Dignitas. Yep, they're moving on.
They are, as big showing for them. Unfortunate for Tree of a Kind, we won't get to see them in 2s any longer, but we do have a titanic matchup coming up next. What I expect to be Scrub Killer up against Fairy Peak.
Juicy.
So stay tuned. Be right back. Don't go anywhere.